Hi everyone. Today we have the honor to present two guest lecturers. We have Oleksii Baranovskyi and Alexander Adamov from Blekinge Tekniska Högskola, which is where I came in contact with a very exciting area of computer security or data security. So without further ado, I'd like to present Oleksii, and I'll let you present yourself.
Thank you. I will use those mics. So, I know a little bit about cybersecurity. For now, I'm senior lecturer in BTH and mostly engaged in topics of application and cloud security. I'm in Sweden a bit more 1.5 year, and the worst thing was when Johan called me and say, "Hi, Oleksii, this is Johan from Skatsverket." It was scary thing about in my life, really. Okay, so but I do pay taxes, everything good. So let's start from topic I would like to deliver you today. As far as you know, for now we have a lot of code being produced, being delivered, developed, and so on. And as application developers, as delivery managers and so on, we need to try to eliminate a lot of things that we could be faced with. For example, poor development practices. Those Git, Stack Overflow, copy paste, doesn't work, and so on. What else? Mistakes, of course. Zero-day vulnerabilities as well. Hard coding of secrets, configuration, and so on and so forth. But besides the code we deliver, we use a lot of third-party code, yeah? Different components, libraries, frameworks, and so on and so forth. And open source code, and so on. And those components could also contain a lot of issues. Intellectual property, licensing issues. By the way, have you heard about virus license? GNU. Have you heard about GNU? GNU, not Unix. Yep. What does it mean? By the way, of course, a lot of our components for now under the GPL, GNU public license. But originally GNU, it's a licensed virus. Why? If you have used a piece of GNU code, all your project is GNU. So if in your Skatsverket application you have a bit of one component with true GNU licensing, it also all the project should be recognized as GNU. Do you have it or not? I don't know. I'm asking you because it's your application, not mine. So, but of course, if we are worrying about this, we should check it somehow. And of course, vulnerabilities. 0 day, not 0 day, but we could have really a lot of problems with vulnerabilities and issues with third party, especially now when attackers, they have started to attack not direct company or application, but dependencies. Especially it been raised in 2017, 2018 with cryptocurrencies. Is well-known story when one attacker has contributed to the open source Git-based project. Around half a year, he has contributed code, merge requests, etc., etc. After half or 1 year, owner of this repo said, "Okay, man, I saw that we are a good contributor. Maybe you will take an ownership of this project." He said, "Yes, of course." He got the ownership of the repository, but the problem was that this repo was used by several crypto wallets. After that, being owner, he has injected code he wants and has compromised a lot of crypto wallets. So it's a case that illustrates that attackers will try to attack not only the direct application, but whole supply chain process, including the dependencies. And we need to be worried about these components. So what we need to test or scan during our delivering in current time, yeah? Of course, code. Our own code, as well as dependencies. the components. But the problem is that components could be not only a source code, but it could be already container, or compiled code, or already compiled components, or built somehow components, whatever. We need to check, to scan, to test not only the code, but infrastructure as a code. Yeah, our configuration file of Terraform, TerraGrant, Ansible. If you talk about CloudFormation or IRM, so on. All right, we have delivered the code, but we need to test and scan the environment our code works in. Especially if you have different infrastructures, separation, development, QA stage, prod, platform, even sometimes ephemeral environments. Because during the last 2 years, I know several cases when vulnerabilities in ephemeral environment, you know what does mean, yeah? Ephemeral environment. Yeah, super. Vulnerabilities in the application being deployed in ephemeral environment been used by attacker as starting point of compromise the infrastructure. And of course, we need to test and scan our builds, application, containers, and so on and so forth. Yep, static code analysis is a standard tool. Besides it, we have something more. Today, it's a separate type of service, named security component assessment or security component analysis. Very often, these services could be provided by one tool or one vendor. I'm not engaged, but for example, Synopsys, they do provide 2 different tools. One tool scans the code, with vulnerability, with checking all the stuff, and other tool scans the dependencies, links to the Git, names of the components, configuration of the components, comparing them with license, comparing them with vulnerability data from vulnerability databases, and so on and so forth. Of course, for the security component assessment, we could be sure in detection accuracy, because if we use Git project version 0.1 of Git project version 0.8, okay, that's a Git project version 0.8. Especially when we have it in our Ansible or Helm charts files and so on. So those tools, it's okay. For the testing of our application automated to save a time, we do use, of course, vulnerability scanners. They could help us to discover vulnerabilities, identify them, audit whole code, explore, create reports, and so on and so forth. The problem that what companies typically do on regular or not so regular basis. They do a code review with help of scanners. So if it's not been implemented in general pipeline, they launch sometimes maybe once a month, once a day, once a week code review with SAST and SCA tools. Upgrade the policies based on that. Periodically executed penetration test against the infrastructure. Potentially hire the vulnerability assessors or reverse engineers trying to find manually vulnerabilities. And at the end, they could implement SAST and SCA on regular basis. That's okay. But the problem is that CI/CD epoch raised a lot of questions. For now, that's traditional schema. We have something development, dev or Git or GitLab, GitHub, Azure, DevOps, whatever. We have architecture code here, we have testing scripts here, we have some security policies, and so on and so forth. Code wrapper after that moves to deployment, and after that moves to cloud or own cloud and so on and so forth. But the problem that if we will implement all these services that I mentioned, starting from penetration testing, security component analysis, static code analysis, and so on and so forth, we will, frankly speaking, we are facing with a big amount, with bulk of questions. First question is, where store the results? Why? Because the question who and how will use the results. Take a look. Let's see that we in our CI/CD we have placed automatic SAST, and it will during the build it will find some artifacts, means vulnerabilities. Where to store? First question, we could store them in our job as job artifacts. The prop in this case, and do not stop the pipeline any. How do you think? Will developers give a time? Will they have a time to take a look to the artifacts on each job if it been finished successfully? I don't think so. Job is good. Job's successful. Yeah, that's okay. All right. We could set up a different. For example, first of all, we will decide who will to do it. For example, who will maintain the security tools and set up the criteria. Okay, security team said, all right, guys, we will configure our SAST tool if the code will have a critical and high vulnerabilities, the job will fail. And we have a SAST tool as security gate. Yeah, means it's okay. But the problem is, again, where to store results in this case. If we will store in job, all right, developer could try to fix it, or could try to avoid it somehow. Why? Because not always fixing the pipeline from developer, fixing the vulnerability from developer side is correct. It should be reviewed by security team because they're professional in this. In this case, how security team will know that this job failed by security scanning SAST tool and so on? Potentially, we need to have some centralized solution, and they already exist. For example, WASP Defect Dojo or other type of vulnerability management tool. And the idea that during the CI/CD, during the continuous delivery pipeline, the results of scanning will be stored in vulnerability management tool. Job will failed. Developer will have access to the job results regardless is it in job artifacts or the report being uploaded to the vulnerability management tool. He could see it, he could fix it, and security guys could prove it that, okay, vulnerability being resolved. But the other question, when this scan should be executed? Why? If we have 300 or 400 developers, I don't know how much Skasverket has, but if we have 500 developers, how do you think, how many scans will be executed if we will say, okay, scan any merge request in CI/CD? Maybe 3,000, maybe 4,000. And each scan potentially could produce the results that we need to store in vulnerability management tools, and security will have alert and need to allocate the time and resources to process it, to work with it. Okay, solutions. Potentially we could specify our policies, specify our approach with some more clear definition. All right, we are going to block pipelines with critical and high vulnerabilities just for stage and prod environments. And potentially ephemeral. No, ephemeral no. Stage and prod. In this case, okay guys, for developers, everything that been raised here is has just alarm purposes, but for stage and prod, you will be locked. And it gives some flexibility for developers to work with their code. maybe to fix vulnerabilities in the future with bulk update, bulk merge request, and so on. Other question, what we need to scan during the CI/CD? Should we block any commit, or just merge request to the master, or merge request to some specific branch? It also depends, and we could specify our own policy. The problem is in the resources. How much resources do we have, and how is critical our application? Question we need to solve: who will maintain the security tools? What does it mean? First of all, pay for them. Second is configure, and I would like to assure you that support teams from those tools, they're not so responsible. Who will maintain and control the results, and how? So we're talking about the policies, security policies and approaches. Who will be able to stop pipeline? Who is responsible for this? And where to save the results for recursive analysis, but not only for recursive analysis. Because frankly speaking, the results of our scans, bless you, you see I'm telling the truth, the result of our scans also should be considered as with the same priority, with the same criticality as our applications. Because even if attacker will compromise not our infrastructure, but will compromise the tool which is used for scan, it could have some benefits from that. For example, we'll see that in one endpoint we will have a SQL injection, or we are having the potential denial of service, and so on and so forth. And the problem, how to maintain everything and understand what to start from to build our security gates. Because I just mentioned just SAST tools, the same issue for the DAST, dynamic security testing, the same issue for the security component analysis, the same issue for the scanning of configuration of our environment, infrastructure as a code, and so on and so forth. The answer is in one simple question. What's the criticality of your product? And according to that, how much developers do you have? And how much money do you have, frankly speaking? Take a look. We could, my suggestion, to take a look for this example. It's up to you. But if we have really, really ultra critical product, your is, I think, is ultra, yeah? Okay. Yes, taxes are important. I agree with you. So, in this case, we are not allowed to permit any vulnerability in any environment. And even we are not allowed to push vulnerability to the repo. All right. In this case, SAST and the CA should start on development phase and could be built into the or IDE, whatever you use, Eclipse or VS Code, as plugins, and vendors do provide those possibility, or should be launched on any push request. So any push to the Git, any push to the repo, during this push, our CI/CD should launch SAST CA if those processes could have found something critical or high or medium, up to you. You stop the pipeline. You stop the push request and raise the error. Sorry, we're not allowed to permit this request into the repo. All right. Oh, sorry, it's mega, yeah? Ultra during the development, mega during the push. Okay, high. Let's develop on their machines what do they want. Let's permit them to push the code even with vulnerabilities to their own branches. Let it be. Branch, according to your policy, potentially, will never be delivered to the environment. Just master track, just master branch. And when developer has finished his development and wants to merge the code, his branch, with the master branch, you check SAST SCA, potentially DAST, if it's possible. And if you have vulnerabilities with your limitation, you stop the pipeline. So, no. And of course, if you are not so worried about the vulnerabilities in code, you could launch sometimes tools against your repo once a month, once a week, up to you. What about the money? Everything about the money according to the tools. Plugins which prevent the vulnerability on developer's machine cost money for one workstation, one installation. Okay, after the scans, frankly speaking, almost all licensing, I know, as far as I know about commercial tools, Synapses, Microfocus, etc., they take money for the amount of scans, or you have limited amount of scans per certain period of time, months or year or week, whatever. So, if we will scan any push request, we will have a bulk of scans during the development, less during the merge phase or some. So, idea that it's all about the money. So, and the task for the security guys, yeah, how to optimize the security budget. Take a look. The idea of those approach that in some assurance, I just already mentioned it, but take a look here. If you talk about the ultra criticality of project, we will have zero critical vulnerabilities in dev, critical and high even in dev. If you talk about the level mega, it's just they were my thoughts. Zero critical in QA, so no merge request, and so on and so forth. So it's up to you how to configure it, how to build it, and when you're going to block pipeline or alert about the vulnerabilities, how security teams should review and impact on this. In some projects that I've been involved, we use the approach when, as I mentioned, we have centralized vulnerability management tool. Yeah. And developers, they have access to the result of it with help of SSO. And the idea that if job was failed, developer has direct link in the job results. He follows the link and could check in the centralized vulnerability management tool the reasons why the job been failed and where is vulnerability. At the same time, security team got the alert, review. Why? Because this vulnerability potentially could be a false positive. And it should be marked somehow. Why? Because if it will be kind of exclusion or fixing for one case, in the next time, this vulnerability will be raised again because of processes in this SAST or SCA tool. And take a look. According to the answers from those questions, yeah, where to store results and who and how we'll manage, you will have different approaches. For example, centralized with full incident response and resolving, as I just described. Or you could have centralized with response resolving, but with some compensation and so on. Potentially, okay, you could store the results in artifacts in pipeline, and security team will periodically review those job alerts or job results and try to understand what's going on there. So, up to you. It's not a problem. Which issues you could be faced with if you will implement those approach approaches of security gateways in your CI/CD pipeline. First of all, supporting technologies. Any new language, any new component could raise problems. The decision, okay, we will develop a new application or new component in other language or with using other containerization tool, could raise a head X for security team and for the DevSecOps officers who are responsible for implementing of that. Because of supporting technologies by vendors, by these tools, and of course the process of maintaining those scans and so on. Managing tool set, vulnerability management tools. Okay, we have installed it, launched it. Question where, how, who is responsible to maintain, which AKS cluster should be used, and so on. After that, they do also require update and continuous integration with new sources, with new scanners, and so on. The thing is that modern vulnerability management tools, they do support not only the results from scanners, kind of say synapses or check marks or other, but also results could be imported from the clouds, from the AWS, from the Azure Security Center, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, for the AWS artifacts, and so on. Okay, the next issue, budgeting issues. As I mentioned, security costs a lot, and the licensing policy in scans, in secret managers, very often depends on the amount of scans, of entities, and so on. But the biggest issue of implementing the security gates to have a balance between speed, delivering, and security as a bottleneck. And this is a main problem of those security gates, because if security will serve as a real bottleneck and will delay the processes of delivering, so vulnerabilities triage, resolving, fixing will take a lot of time. We have a business versus security conflict, and who will win in this conflict? How do you think? If we are government organization, potentially security, but if we are in business, no chances. Trust me. So that's why everything should be in balance, and as security guys, we are not allowed to be a bottleneck. We need to serve, and our efforts should serve the business, should help the business. How to do it? In one of projects I've been involved, we had a service approach. What does it mean? Security sec team or DevSecOps team, whatever, served as independent service provider for the development teams. And development team initially evaluates their domain or tool or component, criticality of that, and select the required level of service. Why it was succeed? First of all, because security service had his own budget and be able to configure properly and all the automation tools and maintain them, update them, and so forth. It has, capex, capital expenses, been were really big in the initial stage, but after that, not so much. And security were able to implement the best practice tools and approaches. So, development team came to security team and say, okay, guys, we are going to start a new component. We are going to start a new process. We are going to start a new development. Please help us. And security gave them a checklist. Okay, guys, technology stack, delivery stack means in infrastructure will be AWS or Azure, your expectations, and what are your indicators, mean security indicators, mean time to resolve, time to deliver. So what are expectations about the timing? How much time do we have, or how much time? And based on this, security team being able to tailor efforts according to business needs, to the development team needs, and deliver those services. Yep, it requires initial investments and building the good security team without those issues in mind that everything should be security and business shouldn't work without our improvement. It's wrong. So, and what was really important also is the separate budgeting, because everyone is worried about his money. Yeah, there is other way how to do it, how to implement those security practices, security gateway practices in your application, your development process with more efficient way. You could pay external company, but it will be the same. So, as I said, there are a lot of approaches how to do it, and it depends of your needs, of your expectations from security of your project. But please be sure that during the next years, those approach, I think, will be required. So, according to the tool set that could be used for the different purposes in those security gateways approach. For the DAST, yeah, we have applications, Burp Suite, Aconetics, Nessus. They do support the integration with CI/CD from the scratch. I would like to point your attention to the EAC scanning, infrastructure as a code scanning. In our CI/CD activities, Chekhov tool it's open source and has a lot of built-in policies. Means they already have rules. They scan the code. So if you have something with Terraform or CloudFormation, it could scan and say, okay, guys, proposed configuration of infrastructure are not compliant with NIST framework or CIS framework or best practices, and so on and so forth. And you configure this tool to start pipeline if infrastructure as a code proposal is not so good. Very flexible and a good tool, Open Policy Agent, permits you to deliver your own policies with the declarative language, and you could really prohibit to deploy, to launch unsafe, uncompliant resources. For the SAST, Prisma, Sonar Cloud, or Sonar Cube, somebody said that it's a QA tool, somebody said it could also check the security. For the component security analysis, Black Duck, a really great thing. Coverity, they came from Synopsys. And I would like to assure you that they're really good, and they could be really easy integrated. What else? Container scan. Today everything is containerized, and it's really a question how to protect really containers. For now, I'm not talking about the security of the storing the containers, special container registries, kind of Azure Container Registry or Artifactory or GitHub Container Registry, but scan during the merge, during the deploying tools. Good thing is Trivi, open source, Sneak, and Aqua as today kind of de facto standard, yeah, the best tool. So if you use something of that, that's good. If not, my suggestion to start. But Is the end? Frankly speaking, no. Take a look. Our security gateway process requires us to potentially be integrated with issue or task tracking system. Idea. All right, just image. Developer has developed a code and pushed it to the repo to his branch. Super, it's permitted. After that, he has executed a merge request with master. During the merge request, security tool has scanned his code and blocked the pipeline because code contained critical and high vulnerabilities. The reports been uploaded to the vulnerability management tool, and developer could check the results in vulnerability management tool and get the help from security team to understand what's going on here, what's the hell going on. And automatically in Jira been created a task in backlog or in active sprint to this developer to resolve this issue. So it gives us full tracking of this vulnerability. Not only we have full tracking responsibility of this vulnerability. We know who has tried to merge this code, who has developed it, when it was done, and we got the task of backlog to allocate a time. And after that, we could gather the information about those vulnerabilities being automatically raised, vulnerability tasks being automatically raised from vulnerability management tools. And delivery managers or product owners, they could see what's the quality of the development from their developer teams. For example, we have 5 tasks to deliver in this sprint, and for these 5 tasks, we have 50 tasks to cover the vulnerabilities. So it looks like we need a security training, yeah, for developers. So, one case. What else? Knowledge sharing. Also, those security gateway tools could be integrated with Confluence or XWiki or other systems, and you could configure a knowledge sharing. So when new developer came to the team, and for example, he has merged something, he got the blocking pipeline, and automatically a link to the knowledge database. So, man, your pipeline been blocked with reason of XSS. Please click this link, go to our knowledge base, our corporate wiki, and you will see the related issues and how to fix them. So don't waste the time of other developers, of your colleagues, or DevSecOps officers, or security officers. Read the fucking manual. What else? Integrate with support teams and support tools. Integration with monitoring tools, with CM systems, also possible. And what managers, delivery managers really like, integration with corporate dashboards. So as I mentioned, good graphs, you know, okay, we have closed 50 story points during the sprint, and during the sprint been raised 100 story points of vulnerability fixing. So something wrong, we need to deliver a new security training. After security training, we have decreasing of vulnerability story points, so that's good, we're working well, and so on and so forth. Okay, I know this ideal world, and I hope somewhere any company will raise it. Amen. Any questions, colleagues? Huh? No questions because it's a public. Okay, for sure. So just a moment. Short advertisement. I'm from BTHO. We have a promise project that Johan said. We have several courses for security architecture, operating system security hardening, pen testing, security metrics. So if you would like to take part as your colleague already, so welcome. Any questions, you will have all the answers. If you would like to raise the questions, here we go. Okay, just for you. Photo it. So you could photo this one also. Yeah. So thanks a lot, colleagues. See you.